So, hi guys, and welcome to the first ever podcast at Sideline Chatter. Um, I'd like to introduce my friends and guests today, Ameya Gole, Mihir Jagtap, and Yogesh Gadre. All three of them I have known for a lot of years, and I know that all three of them are heavy sports buffs, definitely into cricket a lot, like be it India or non-Indian matches. So, and we are, discussing on various groups about it. So I think let's get our opinions out to our friends and the community in general. So guys, how did the match pan out? I think finally, after the disappointment of the last match, we got one back and an historic win at Edgbaston today. So Mir, let's start with you.
Well, I think the last match was a big disappointment. Now, after dominating for most of the game, especially how it panned out in the last inning on the last day. And not only did they chase 370, but they made it look very easy. So it was sort of like, felt like a back-breaking defeat. And, this is what we're in for this entire series. Pitches would be flat and everything. But I mean, after that, bowling showed great character in this game, even without Bumrah. So, I mean, initial reaction was fantastic. Great comeback, and I think we're in for a very good series. This sets it up.
Yeah, I think this sets it up perfectly. Yogesh, I think what would you say was the difference between the two tests for India?
Catching, without a doubt, without a doubt, because this clearly showed one thing that we have a better bowling armory as compared to England, lot more effective. And had we held on to those 7-8 drop chances that we had in the first test, the result would have definitely been different. This test we probably didn't drop anything, not simple chances, definitely not, maybe one or two tough ones. So the main difference was the catching, and obviously that gives you momentum, that gives the bowlers the momentum, and the end result was right there in front of us.
Yeah, I agree. Ameya, I guess you would agree on the catching part as well. But another thing that we really sort of controlled in this match was our batting collapses. I think those two collapses in the two innings also did hurt
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. What I felt was India played this match like a test match. They did not worry about run rates. I was just hearing the commentators go crazy yesterday about when Jadeja was out there and playing before tea, and they were going crazy why he's not smashing the ball. Its test is also more about the mental aspect, and you get into their heads. Opening batsman is thinking that he'll be getting 30 overs after the tea, but you keep on batting, and not giving away the wicket and staying on the pitch. It takes a toll on your mental aspect. Definitely it took toll on both the openers. And I think yesterday evening when we got those two wickets, the openers, that was the effect where we kept on batting, played proper test cricket, and that was the main difference. We did not try to copy the baseball thing. We just stayed on the pitch and played our cricket. That was great. That was amazing to see. And of course, the bowling was amazing. Akashdeep hitting those seam were brilliant.
Yeah, I think the mind games were there to see. I think yesterday everyone was expecting a declaration and we just kept on batting. Amir, was that the turning point in your opinion, or was there any other particular moment or moments in the test in general?
I think the first being 210 or something for five in the first innings. I mean,
Yeah.
the way they batted from there, it seemed like 350 was, the best case scenario, especially considering how the lower order collapsed in the previous game. So even in this game, we only had Jadeja and Washington, and Gill had to bat with the two of them. But I think his shot selection, the patience he showed, and choosing the right deliveries and moments to attack. They were very patient. They built a massive partnership there. So that was the first turning point. And apart from that, in England's first innings, I think the way they bowled with the second new ball, that was brilliant, because we were, even after the big partnership, there was still a risk that they were like they did in the first game, that they will sort of get close to what we had gotten in the first innings. So that was one, and of course the way Akashdeep bowled throughout. I mean, it was just brilliant, because he was the only bowler who was getting some seam movement off the deck. It was a big difference when he was bowling and the others were bowling. So I think those three are probably the turning points in the game.
Yeah, I think Akashdeep, I think in both innings, he's been the big difference probably from the last test as well, especially the movement that he's gone off the seam because of his wobbly seam in a way. So, it can go either way. He's like a mini Shami. Yogesh, I think um I would like to get your opinion on this. That in my view, I think the wicket of Brook in the first innings when England was batting was also a crucial moment, uh, especially because it seemed like they are sort of running away with the game at that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, one point was Brook, which triggered the collapse. And we should not forget how well Siraj bowled during that particular spell.
Hmm.
Those wrapping up the tail has always been some kind of a weakness for Indian bowling lineups forever now. So to see to see them from 84 for 5 to 387 for 5 to 387 for 5, and then after the six wicket fell, the next four fell in 20 runs. That was a that was a big turning point for the match because the four wickets that fell after Brook, they fell in a heap, and that gave us 180 run lead when it seemed like probably we might not the lead might go down to 100 or even two digit numbers. So yeah, that was good. Now the factor remains who goes out. Probably Prasidh Krishna goes out in the next test because Siraj has done well in the first innings. Akashdeep definitely has locked his place for next two or three tests at least, fitness permitting. So it looks like Prasidh will probably go down.
Yeah, I think at Lords that also seems to be like a fair call from our team's balance. I think another important innings in the second innings when India was batting was the way Rishabh Pant infused that momentum. I think in terms of getting quick runs in that second
Quick.
session, uh, how crucial was that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely crucial. See, Pant is the closest we have to baseball, I think, and he keeps on going like that, and that's his natural game. Like, even he's good at defending. Don't get me wrong on that. Like, he has played some crucial innings, scored some crucial centuries. He's the like he can change the game, but I would I definitely felt the way Washington Sundar batted in the first innings with Shubman Gill, that gave us a solid platform because that he tired England out. Like 150 overs in outside on the ground, it's a lot to take. And that I felt was the turning point. And obviously, Mohammad Siraj and his four wickets were just brilliant. Pant, I think the first Test match, his second century, he was very, very lucky to get that. Lots of drop catches that day. But that's the way his game is. It's going to come up. It's going to help us sometimes. Uh, it's going to make Sunil Gavaskar go stupid, stupid, stupid for some time. But that's the way Pant is, and that's the amazing part of him. Like after Sehwag, an exciting talent that you find from India, where you want to see Test cricket being played, is Pant, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. And surprisingly, even for all his antics and, the risks that he takes, he's in fact India's most consistent batsman over the last two cycles of the WTC. So, that sort of also puts it into the equation that, he is our best bet. But coming to the number four spot, because Virat Kohli is retired, Gill automatically moved into that spot. Um, is this the best spot for him? I mean, the two matches and the runs that he scored definitely sort of say that, but is this his spot uh, rather than being an opener that he's been so far? Mihir, what would you say about it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no reason to doubt it, considering, I mean, A, how he's played in this innings, or the two, three innings that he's played well so far, because he's shown great maturity when he's come in at four. Maturity in terms of how to bat with the lower middle order or lower order batsmen, how to play against spin, great conditions, are flat and everything. But even in these particular conditions, he stood out. He's played much better than any of the other batters, a seasoned batter or one of the finest like Joe Root. Also, at times has made mistakes. So, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the game is psychological. So, when in your mind you believe you can score those 200s, 250s are actually the time when you actually score those runs. I mean, if you compare that to what Jaiswal did in the first innings, I mean, his batting was almost spotless until he got to 80 or, barely made a mistake, but then, that rush of blood, especially with the way these players play in the other formats. It's very common for them to make those kind of mistakes, to balls outside the off stump or a short ball that you want to hit for six and things like that. So, I mean, for the past, 25-ish years, we've never had to think about the number four spot. But now this is a big transition, and I don't see anyone other than Gill to, who can actually fill in that role. Having said that, I would like someone a little more assertive at number three, as opposed to what we had with Pujara and Rahul Dravid in the past. So maybe a Karun Nair on paper is someone you would want there. You want him to score some quick runs, like, sometimes what Marnus does for Australia, or Ollie Pope is supposed to do for England. Play more positively. Get the ball out. Try to put some pressure on the bowler. So, especially with the new ball. So I think Gill at four is perfectly suited. What happens with Karun and Nitish is unknown for the moment, because Nitish is hardly bowled. So I mean, if you're going for a conservative team anyway, do you want to play Sai and get that extra batting option, or in the team itself, or whether you want that extra bowling option, you want to go attacking and you say let's play Kuldeep and Bumrah both. That's probably not going to happen, especially overseas. But I mean, it's very difficult when players are dropped, after one or two matches. What happened with Sai after the first test, uh, especially considering it was his debut plus away series. So, I mean, those questions, I mean, the team needs to answer. But Gill at four, I think, is just a no-brainer, irrespective of what happens in the coming 10, 15, 20 matches for India.
Yeah, I think spot on, and a good point that you raised regarding Sai and the number three question, and also the number six question in terms of Nitish Kumar's place. I think Sai also brings in a different aspect, being a left-hander at number three. So you always have that flexibility. Yogesh, I would like your thoughts on that, and also
Yeah.
your thoughts on what uh, sort of chinks in the armor does Shubman have that he needs to correct, now that he's cementing his place at number four, because we've seen some of them being exposed in the past.
Right. So see, ideally right now he looks good for number four, but a lot depends on who we find as and who we fix on as for number three. Now what happens is that see, Gill is your middle order batsman, number three or four. The other best batsman that you have at number three, four, five, whether that particular batsman is good enough to go for number three or not. Gill has played number three for almost a year and a half now. Before this particular series, he's done decently well in the England series at home. He performed decently well. He came out of a bad patch and did well. Still, he was inconsistent. He did not play one or two matches. Then he had a good match, one off. But Australia was anyways a tough series for everyone, for that matter. So a lot depends on whom we get at number three and how we groom that particular person. So the current options being Karun Nair, probably not for the long term. He's already 34, 35. Sai Sudarshan, or if you get someone like Shreyas Iyer in the middle order, whether Shreyas Iyer is willing to come in at number three or not at some point of time later in his career. If he is not ready to come in, so for example, if there is a scenario where you get a middle order batsman who is good enough to represent India, whom you feel can perform consistently, but you have reservations about this particular gentleman coming in at number three, will the management be able to move Gill to three and get the other guy at four? So lot depends on that. Uh, right now the things seem to be a lot more fluid as compared to the earlier number fours we had. Once Tendulkar was set at number four, there was no way you could dislodge him from that particular number. Kohli being the natural successor, and also having Kohli, Pujara, and Rahane came in almost at the same time. It was between 2008 to 11. So that number 3, 4, 5 slots of Dravid, Tendulkar, and Lakshman were naturally filled in by these three youngsters during that particular period. So we had a hierarchy and we knew what numbers they are going to fill in right from day one. That doesn't seem to be the situation right now. You don't have a natural order apart from Gill and of course Pant down the order, who will be there for the long term. as and when they sort that issue out, then probably we'll be in a better position to know whether Gill is good at number 4. He's good at number 3 and 4 both. Two really good test matches at number 4. But let's see who we get for number 3, and then probably we'll have a better picture. In
Just
terms of the chinks in the armor, one obviously is that every time I talk about weakness for Gill, and I remember how James Anderson, or who's the tall guy from New Zealand who got him out a couple of times with a in swingers clean bowl, Jamison, he's got him out. So that in swinging, in swinging ball just from outside the off stumps does seem to be some kind of an issue. Too early probably might have fixed it as well, because these two test matches anyways did not offer any swing to the bowler at all. Next three test matches we might see something if England doesn't go back to the drawing board. If they still continue playing on dry pitches to support the kind of team that they have, then we might as well see a repetition of what is happening right now in terms of the kind of help that the bowlers are getting from the pitch. Let's see. Probably Lords will offer something for the bowlers, lot better than the previous two test matches. That's the judgment probably right now.
Yeah, and Lords also has, a lot of angles to play with because of the natural slope that the ground
Yes.
has. So, that also brings in a very interesting aspect in terms of the bowling lineup. And that
Mm.
was also something that I was going to ask you guys next, Ameya.
Yeah,
Do you see, I mean, the obvious change would be getting Bumrah in, but
yeah.
who replaces Bumrah? Do we go in with four pacers for the next match and probably not play Washington, given the way the Lord's ground is and
Uh,
possibly a livelier pitch?
Sorry, I missed the question. There is some audio problem.
So my question was that given that we will definitely have a change in the bowling lineup
Yeah.
in the Lord's test, and Bumrah coming in, who does he replace? Does he replace Prasidh? Does he replace Washington?
I think definitely Prasid. Like, uh, though I have reservations about it because you you know about the famous victory with Ishan Sharma Goddess on the Lord's wicket, and
yep.
that plays on my mind, saying that maybe Prasid with his height and the bounce he may get, he'll be something good for us. But again, uh, that was a different pitch. Now it will be a different pitch. There is no doubt that Bumrah is our best bowler.
I'm sorry,
So
Amir, but they actually tried doing that in the first innings with Prasik bowling the short balls. They actually
yeah,
tried doing.
and England also failed miserably. I don't know what is wrong with all these captains and trying to bowl negative and short balls and then putting seven fielders on the leg side. Earlier, it used to be that let people drive. You keep the ball on like proper length and like outside off stump and let people drive, and then you'll get those edges. But now it's just gone crazy. Smith smashed us, and then Gill smashed them. So I don't know what kind of logic is there to like keep on bowling short balls, and uh, people are just smashing those balls into the stands, and just scoring the scoring rates are like 6 and 7, and there is no defensive play on it. And you need some defensive play while you're playing a test match. There has to be a session where you make the batsman uh, like go for the runs, work hard for the runs, and that is something lacking. And I think with Akashdeep, Siraj, and Bumrah coming in for Prasidh Krishna, the first change bowler will be better than Prasidh, frankly. So either Akashdeep or Bumrah starts and Mohammad Siraj comes in as the first change, but that will be a definite change for me. And I'm wondering why didn't they play this test match also? We would have won by 400 runs maybe if Bumrah would have played, but because England were clueless, like completely clueless. Well, bowling also I did not find. Uh, I think they were too tired. Like Stokes just couldn't. Actually, I consider Stokes as one of their best bowlers right now because he at least keeps on thinking on a new plan. But this time, like the second innings, so they had no clue about what has to be done, and that leg side bowling and keeping it there, bouncing them, and Gill just smashed them into the stands. So yeah, Bumrah comes in without a doubt.
I won't
Yeah,
be
and I think
surprised if you know I yeah so I won't be surprised if they make Jadeja sit or Reddy sit to bring in Bumrah and play with four proper fast bowlers and
yeah,
because see Reddy hasn't contributed with the bat, Jadeja hasn't contributed much with the ball, but he has held up one part of the game, that is for sure. But with Washington getting the kind of carry and bounce that he was getting today, with a short spell that he bowled, and obviously he's a very able batter, so that opens up the selection quite a bit. So Prasidh, Bumrah, uh, and
Siraj, yeah, Akash.
Akashdeep and Siraj, all four might play as well in the game, for all you know.
But is Praseed that good a bowler to be a like waste a spot on him? I for two test matches he's not performed. Yeah, maybe as I said, the pitch conditions may be different where you'll get some more bounce and maybe then Prasid plays. But he has been very expensive for us.
Yeah, there's a
so I would
stat
like
with
to
Prasid that
Yeah, yeah.
I
no
would like
one
to
is
get Mihir's
no
opinion
one.
on this because there is someone that we are missing entirely from the conversation um, that we have in our reserves, and I would like to get Mihir's opinion on this. Is Arshdeep is yet to play. He's performed pretty well in the practice games,
Hmm.
and that could add another angle, of surprise in terms because Siraj has played back-to-back matches. There could be a case of giving him a rest as well. So could that also be a ploy in
Yeah,
our
I think because between this and the third test, we don't have a big break. Both matches have gone to full 5 days, which doesn't happen a lot these days. But because of the nature of these pitches, I was sort of expecting Arshdeep to be played in this game itself. But they gave Prasid another chance, another go at it. But I was coming to the same point. No one who's bowled as many deliveries as Prasid in Test cricket has been more expensive than him in the history of the game. So minimum 500 balls, he has the highest economy rate ever. So he played, I think, in South Africa last year. He played a game probably in Australia. Wherever he's played, he's really not shown as a test bowler. I mean, in theory you have this hit the deck bowler who can bowl 140 plus, he can get that extra bounce, maybe hurry batsman. I mean that's what they're looking for with him. But I mean, his problem is he's not able to land the ball in a particular place consistently. So which is why he's trying a lot of things, especially on these pitches where you don't get that extra bounce or carry. So he's trying a lot of different things. It's almost like Umesh Yadav without the dream ball. So we always criticize Umesh Yadav for bowling dream balls and then not being consistent. But this is like Umesh Yadav without the dream ball itself. So yeah, so I mean, Arshdeep is definitely an option. I would still drop Prasid, get Bumrah in, uh, and maybe retain this combination because at Lords you can have that extra bounce. England notoriously poor against spin. Uh, and Washington, with the way he batted, I mean, forget the runs, but he was able to bat time. He was able to build a
yeah.
partnership. And I really like seeing Jadeja at six because from what I have seen, Jadeja really struggles when he bats with the tail because he sort of loses the plot. He's just blocking balls. He's not getting enough runs, in partnerships with the tail, although it's very difficult to do that. So, I mean, I think Jadeja at six with someone like Nitish Reddy to follow who can, sort of play some free flowing strokes, get a few runs with the tail, and then you have your fast bowlers because anyway you're going to bowl two at once. So I mean with Bumrah, Akash, and Siraj or Arshdeep, whoever, if you want to rest someone. So in those three fast bowlers with the two spinners, and then Nitish can just fill in with a couple of overs end of the session or whatever. So I think that looks like a good combination.
Yeah, I think most likely that's the one that you would go with. Yogesh, get coming to the pitches. We've seen, I think, one of the flattest pitches on display in both the test matches so far. Uh, Quite contrary to what we are used to seeing in England, but it also sort of plays into the baseball game. But with the Indian batting also the skillful bowling that we've shown on display in both the test matches, though we had a few unlucky drops. Are these pitches really playing into India's hand, or do you think England just will go with these flat decks and trust their bat ball instincts to, sort of chase any target that is set in front of them because they are uh, quite happy chasing anything?
See, it's very clear that flat pitches are not. Indian bowling is right now in a better situation as compared to the English bowling lineup. Gone are the days of Anderson and the Broad wreaking havoc through lineups. So if they prepare a green pitch, it will be probably a bigger threat to them as good as it will be for us. The only thing that might help them is the mentality to score runs at whatever cost and whatever pitch is in front of you. So that mentality actually helps you. Well, that's my understanding. That mentality actually helps you on tougher pitches, because on tougher pitches, when the average innings is of 200 to 50 runs, at that time someone coming in and pitching in with 80 85 runs, the likes where Pant has contributed so heavily over last 5 6 years for India, where we have played on tough pitches but Pant keeps on scoring and saving our asses. So that way, that kind of scoring and that kind of mentality that England has, it will actually help them on tougher pitches as compared to the flat ones. Because on flat ones, even India will score. Our bowlers are better, so we'll keep on creating more opportunities, and probably if we catch well, we'll keep on winning games. Uh, also, a lot depends on the kind of weather that is there. Because at Lords, again, I just heard someone from the commentary team saying that the temperature is expected to be around 30 degrees, which is quite hot by England standards. So whether they will be able to maintain that grass, whether the pitch will be, if they wish to have a green pitch, whether they will be able to create that, mm, I have my doubts, because it is a contribution of weather and also what they actually want on that pitch.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You mentioned the weather. I mean, England is also going through one of its hottest summers
Yeah.
on record. So, I think that's also adding to the challenge of making pitches. So, if I could get each one of you to answer this one by one bold prediction that you would have for the next test, because that sort of will also set the entire series up very nicely if teams play for the results. Starting with Ameya, what's your
I think if we get our team combination right, uh, we are going to win this series very easily. I feel even the first test match, we should have done better. If we got better, we would have won the match. It was in our hands. And with our bowling attack, and if we sort that one down batsman issue in batting, I think we have a great chance to like win this series 3-1 or 4-1. For next test match, I think if we get our bowling combination right, Bumrah and Siraj bowling that well, Akashdeep bowling that well, we get the right team combination. Uh, an innings win is also possible.
wow?
If of course England winning the toss, keep on bowling first, then it becomes a little difficult. But I think it's possible because the bowling attack that I see, the only threat that I see, not the threat, but like if Jofra comes in, that's an added dimension to the English bowling attack, uh, which we'll have to tackle. But I'm sure our batsmen are good enough to tackle.
What about you, Mihir? Who's uh, who's your money on in terms of scoring for India
Yeah,
or for
I was going
England
to
for
say
that matter? Like even for
I was
England
going
for
to
that
say
matter.
India win in 4 days and Jaiswal scores 100, but I mean, I just remembered the fact that they have Jafra sitting around is very likely to play the next game. I mean, but it'll be an interesting one. For some reason, Lords is always a fun game, even if it's one-sided. I mean, it's the general atmosphere, the way the pitch is, the ground is. So, I mean, my prediction again, India wins in 4 days. This one will probably not go to the fifth day, but it all depends on the pitch. I mean, if it's another belter like this, I mean, every match is going to be 5 days long.
What about you, Yogesh? If Jofra plays, then do you think that will add a new dimension? Are you putting your money on him for like maybe a 5 wicket haul because he's I mean
If
Lodge is a ground that he
if
favors as well.
if Jofra plays, then Jaiswal has to play a big part. Reason being, he's the opener. He
True.
takes him first thing head on, and Jaiswal has full capabilities to deal with the kind of pace and bounce that Jofra has. My bet is that Jaiswal gets a daddy 100 at Lords. He deserves that. Two previous Mumbaikars have had that. You know, they have had the chance to celebrate 100. One being Rahane and second being Agarkar of all the people. I'm sure that Jofra Jaiswal should actually get a good chance. Gut feel says that if Washington Sundar plays a part, if he's part of the 11, then he will also play a major part because he is definitely an able batsman. In case of any kind of downfall, he is the one who will be anchoring the tail. So those two are the key players for us. And one more thing is, well, I'm probably taking over Nandan's call, but one thing that we have missed, what happens to the Karun Nair scenario? So
And also one point is that England have played the same squad for two test matches.
Yes.
So their bowlers are tired, and again the break is not that big. So Lords is where we like if we put pressure on them and if we get that victory, it's always the momentum that carries you through the test series. And if we get that momentum in Lords, I'm sure we are in for a big test series.
Yeah, I have a gut feeling that they will play Jofra in Lords. I mean, he's also there in the fringe, and I think it sort of also helps them. It's one test before a long break in the series, so Jofra not having enough of match practice behind him, I think it's just a thing of just go and unleash yourself and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the 23 Ashes, I mean, England lost the first two games sort of convincingly. We thought Australia is going to run away with the series, but somehow with a bit of rain break, unlikely win they conjured up. They somehow managed to level the series. They could
Yeah.
not win the Ashes, but I mean that's the thing with England. You never know. They can be bowled out for 70 one day, the next day they're chasing 350. I mean it's best to not write England off because they're still a dangerous team. I mean we've not seen Root score runs yet. No, he's troubled us in the. Yeah, Stokes is another player who can trouble you. I mean, Root has scored runs, but I mean, everything is relative in this aspect, right? So, as compared to what our batsmen are doing. I mean, they're still a decent unit, but again, the lack of bowling options that they have currently without Mark Wood and Jafra Archer. And I think Vokes also has lost a bit of his edge because his pace has dropped. I remember the 2018 series, he was much more lethal. He was getting better shape. Of course, pitches might be different back then. 6, 7 years have gone by since then. But I mean, Vokes has sort of tapered off a bit. So uh, the bowling, if they sort out the bowling issue, England and their batting is still something. It is quite formidable.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've not seen the best of England probably in terms of their batting, though they did chase down their total, but a lot of their key batsmen are still to get runs. My next question is sort of on the battle of the keepers, because both sides have keepers who are, on a given day they can just take the game away from you. We saw that. We've seen that with Pant so many times. We saw that with Smith in the first innings. It really looked like a team that was at 84 for 5 would really, reach 500, 550 plus. That's how they were going. Who do you think is winning this battle so far? Who do you think is going to win the battle by the end of the series? Let's start with you, Yogesh.
see, just on the quality of player that he is, Smith definitely seems to be a much better batsman as compared to Pant. For all I know, he's also opening for them in ODIs. He's coming five down in tests. He is a three format player for England, and he, for some reason, he just seems to be a lot more complete. He seems to have a lot more time at hand when he's playing his shots. Pant is a lot more effective for India. Uh, but over the long run, Smith will definitely score a lot more runs because if he's at ease in subcontinental conditions, he is definitely a much better player for England than probably Pant might. Even Pant in itself is a very good player for us. Smith might turn out to be even better.
What about you, Ameya?
Yeah, I agree with you, Yogesh, on this because yeah, I think Smith is a brilliant batsman. Uh, I also thought that we did not bowl that well to him and made it easy for him to score. Like I think they scored about some 160, 170 runs in that session where he smashed a century. And like if he's doing that to you, and again, as I told, Gill went into the same scenario where he bowled short and he kept us smashing on the leg side. But he's definitely a good batsman, a technically sound batsman. He played spin well. Uh, he plays his drives well. He pulls well. So I think he's a better batsman than Pant. I also think it may be a little controversial. I think he's a better keeper than Pant. But again, in subcontinent conditions, he has to come and he has to perform. So maybe when he plays in the subcontinent, we'll actually be able to compare how good a batsman he is or how good a keeper he is. In fact, so but I think right now, if you see, yeah, he's a better batsman and a better keeper than Pant. Slightly, but yeah.
What about you, Mihir? I think you have a soft corner for Pant probably. So
I mean, see, Pant has been doing it for many years now, and he's got so many overseas centuries. It's hard to discount a player like him. And for
yeah.
some reason, he's a completely different player when he's playing with the red ball. It sees it better, hits it better, it's better at playing the fields, and surprisingly, he can't replicate it in white ball cricket. But man, for whatever it's worth, Jamie Smith I think he's a fantastic talent. He's done really well in the last year or so. But I think once this player, like sort of, teams perceive him as a threat, I'm sure people will start coming up with plans for him. Right now, just bold lens, hope for the best. But I'm sure the analysts are already onto him. They're thinking of what his weaknesses are. So the real test normally comes a couple of years once you're into your career. 2 3 years after that, once you're successful, once team starts, other teams start seeing you as a threat. That is when you have to prove it in various conditions. So it's a very exciting battle. I think it's all good for the sport. It's good for Test cricket, especially, to keep it going. I'm looking forward to seeing more of JB Smith.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you because I have a soft corner for Pant, the batsman as well. And I think, like you said, the unorthodoxy of Pant is, I think, his biggest asset at times, especially in red ball cricket, because you can't plan for a batsman like that. I mean, though Ben Stokes did, like, in his own unorthodox way, keep a mid on and a long on behind each other and, bait him into it. But, on some days it comes off, some days it doesn't. But overall, so far, he has proven himself to be a better test cricketer as a whole, his batting as well as his keeping, which keeps on improving. So my money's on Rishabh.
Yeah, and of course we should not forget that the mental strength to come back from a like a life-threatening accident and to come back
Yeah,
and play to that level and get to that level and keep on scoring centuries and it's not the mental strength Pant has. I think uh, none of the Indian players even come close to it because it must have been hell of a life when he was going through that accident and sitting at home to come back and perform that well and become the vice captain of Indian cricket test team. It's just amazing.
yeah. I would like each one of you to give me one prediction in the Lord's Test. Whose name do you see coming up on the honors board from England side as well as from India side? Let's start with you, Ameya.
Uh, I couldn't hear the question. Can you repeat?
My question is, what's your prediction for one name from each team from England and India, whose name will be on the honors board in the Lord's Test?
I think uh, I want Yashasvi Jaiswal to get his century. Frankly, I even KL Rahul. I think the openers have done a great job for India. They have been at it, playing well, defending the balls when they wanted aggressive starts. Both of these openers I'm fine with, but I think Shubman Gill will get his name on the honors board. He's been performing well, and once you have that momentum with you, I think Gill will get his name on. And on the England side, I think someone like I don't know, maybe it's time for Stokes to rise up and take his team, uh, yeah, like to make his team compete in this Test series. So I think Stokes probably.
Mihir, what about you?
So same, like I said before, Jaiswal for India, and I'm expecting Joe Root to score 100 in the coming game. I mean, just a gut feeling because like they say, when the going gets tough, and he's done it so many times in the past. You can't discount him on the basis of two tests or few number of tests anyway. So Joe Root and Jaiswal for me. Among the bowlers, it's a little difficult, but if Akash Deep bowls the same way, you can expect him to get a lot of wickets. Siraj has these moments every now and then. And Bumrah, of course, is Bumrah. So, I mean, if anything less than three wickets for Bumrah is almost like a failure. So, probably Bumrah and Akash will do something with the ball.
Yogesh, what about you?
I'll start with England. England bowlers, I feel Vokes will have a good time at Lords. For some reason, I feel the kind of pitch, the kind of slope that is there that suits his bowling. He had a couple of close call in the first innings in this test match as well. So Vokes, amongst Indian bowlers, I think it will be Siraj or Bumrah from the Indian bowling side. Indian batsman, it has to be Jaiswal, as I said previously as well. English batsman, I'm not so sure. Probably no centuries from English side.
Wow, that's a bold. That's I
That
think a bold but a happy prediction for an Indian fan.
do you think?
So I think KL Rahul will get his name on the honors board. He's been very consistent. He's due, and I think especially in the second innings because he is a second innings player. Is my opinion that he plays much better in the second innings, especially when we have our balls against the back in a way, and he's done that few times in overseas tests. So KL Rahul from India. From England, I think Joe Root is due. So it might come in the first innings where we get a lead and stuff like that. But I think Joe Root will have his name on the honors board. And from the bowling perspective, I think Bumrah, he is he's not like he didn't get as many wickets as he would have liked to in the first test. So I'm sure he's ready to go, and this win will definitely pump him up. Bumrah from the bowler side. So this next segment is something of a fan question where I'd asked people on Instagram to give in their questions and let us answer those. So the question that I have is, was Shubman selfish in not declaring earlier than what most people expected? And was he going for the 456 record, or was it something else on his mind? Was he setting like a platform, uh, uh, like sending a message out as a captain? What was it, and what is your opinion on it? Let's start with you, Mihir.
Uh, I don't really think so. I mean, a lot of these players in the Indian team, they've been brought up that way. Now, the modern generation to think of the larger picture. Of course, you have the voice of the coach in your ear at all times. So, and considering how the test team is played in the past few years, whatever the morals that have been set up in this team, it's always about the team being put first. I think the only thing they were going after is sort of playing with the baseball ego. They wanted them to have like 100 overs and 5 runs an over to get it. So it doesn't seem impossible to them. And a part of it was probably due to what happened in the previous game as well. You did not see 370s and scores like that chased very often. So they would have liked that cushion of 50 runs. They went ahead with a cushion of 150 runs probably, but they would have all liked that cushion because we had sort of time to do it. The only thing that was in doubt is the rain.
Yeah.
And had we lost more time to the rain, that would have definitely come under more scrutiny. But I think apart from that Jadeja innings, where he was slightly slower than what he should have been, the idea was to just stretch them enough to play on their ego, and make them believe they are doing something crazy out. They will, because I mean, even at the end you saw they will never block anything, right?
Yeah.
The intention was always to just go for it. Even the number eight batsman will come and start swinging his bat. So I don't think it was selfish as such. And in hindsight, of course, because we won very comfortably, we can say it was not a problem at all.
Yeah, I think Ameya, I think you would agree with what Mihir said because you brought it up earlier as well that he was sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
playing
absolutely,
mind games.
absolutely. It was completely mind games. You can see. See what has happened with baseball with England. They want everything to be done quickly. Like they want early wickets, they want wickets to come closely. The whole patience has not really been tested. But this time we really tested their patience, where they were like, "Come on! If you think like an opening batsman, you're thinking about when am I going to go in, and you're thinking about the complete innings. I mean, the lead is just growing. It's just 450, 500, 600. Just keeps on going, and that's what exactly what Shubman wanted. Frankly, any bowling attack for it to like perform well, the maximum number of overs they can bowl is about 120 in their complete like full pace, completely in control. After that, teams start losing their control. So about 120 overs for us to bowl in the fourth innings was more than enough, what I felt, because England were not going to go for 600. That is what I thought yesterday evening only, that they will be very, very stupid to go for it. But see, they couldn't even, like all their batsmen, they couldn't even defend for, like, make it interesting till the last session, because that's the way they play. And they exactly played into India's hands. This is what I feel. And India was smart enough to keep them on the field for like 240 overs in total, about 240, 230 to 240 overs. And that is a like a big number for English players to be on the, when they are so used to baseball and getting things done quickly.
Yeah, I think, and that was also seen in the loss of three quick wickets before end of day's play yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh, Yogesh, I just a different school of thought. Like I'm not in terms of comparing captaincies here because Gill is just into his second test. But if say Virat was captain instead of a Gill, would he have baited England? Say to go and score a score of around 525 or something in around 110, 120 overs, which also falls in pretty much possible scenario given their baseball antics, and also considering that there was a real threat on our minds going.
Probably Virat has been the aggressive one, but you have to remember that it was not a situation where we needed to declare early. We had time on our hands. Even after we played in the third session yesterday, and still we had 110 overs completely. 15 yesterday, 90 full if possible yesterday, 105. So 105, 110 overs are more than enough for you to bowl out any team on the fourth wicket. So I don't think Virat would have acted differently, because the kind of resources at hand and the background, we had this big game in the bag. Had we lost from here, it was a near impossible thing. Probably a draw, weather permitting. Then yeah, that would have been a big surprise and disappointment. Back to back cases where we have let the match go from our hands. So I don't think it would have been too different.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think, but yeah, most of us would agree that given the situation that we were in, it sort of we pushed England to the brink against their ego, and I guess the result has is there to see. So just coming to the last bit of the podcast, and this is a like sort of a trivia uh, section. So I'd just like to get you guys to answer. Uh, Ben Stokes is now the holder of a dubious record for himself. What was it that occurred for the first time in his entire Test career?
So his entire Test career as a player,
As a player, yes.
I think England conceded the most runs they ever did in a Test match. Is that?
No.
That's not related to story.
So you're asking individually for Ben Stokes or
Yeah, for
England
Ben
as a team?
Stokes individually,
Or individually?
something happened for the first time in his entire Test career.
Duck first ball.
Yes,
Okay.
his first ever golden duck.
Ball from Siraj there. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, that was a
Amazing.
snorter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the
Last
next
year?
question. Yeah, sorry, Ameya, go ahead.
No, 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 I said nice, good answer.
Yeah.
That's it.
So next question is about Team India. I think this one is probably an easier one. Uh, Team India, like recorded something for the first time ever in their entire history of Test matches in this Test. What was it?
Most number of runs.
Yeah.
Most number of runs in a single test.
Correct. But yes, we crossed 1,000 aggregate in the test in a test for the first time. Only five teams have done that before us. I mean, five times it's happened before us, rather. So we scored 1,014 runs. So that was uh, we crossed that 1,000 run barrier for the first time. And
Nothing. Sorry to disturb, but nothing comes close to the 900 runs Sri Lanka scored
Sri
against
Lanka.
us.
yeah, I
Ugly
mean
on the one.
that is a scar
Yeah.
that is a scar that is going to take a long time for us to sort of
It was
get over.
Roshan Mahanama, right? I think
Roshan
Roshan
Mahanama,
Mahanama
Atapattu,
Atama
Jayasurya. Yeah.
I think that wicket was flatter than
flatter than.
probably the flattest of roads that we see around
We
anywhere.
don't see flat roads around anymore.
No, not in India, anywhere in the world. I was not talking about India at all, but maybe probably down south somewhere. Yeah, we would see some good roads, but yeah, none of them around us.
Yeah.
And coming to Gill, he's he recorded n number of records in this match. So, what were they like? Would you be able to name a few of them?
And most runs as captain, I think, in one innings.
Yeah, as
Highest
an
score
Indian
in
captain.
England. Yeah, as an Indian captain. As an Indian captain. Highest score in England, I think, by an Indian batsman.
Yeah,
Then, I mean, all of them, highest whatever. You can, I think, most runs in one match, I think, by an Indian ever. I think
yeah,
he got that as
that's
well.
true.
I think he was second in something with Grand
Yeah,
Total.
he's second in the most runs scored.
Runs scored, yeah.
I
Most
think
runs
I think
scored.
there's I think a double century followed by 150 is also
150.
one of
Yeah,
the
he's the
records.
first ever player to score a 250 followed by a 150 in a test match.
250 followed by 150. Right.
And Wadman scored 900 something runs in one series. That's the highest ever. So, I mean,
Yeah,
over 10
he's on
innings.
track. Yeah,
But yeah.
He's already, what, 500 runs?
Yeah,
500 plus.
that's,
Yeah.
550, 600 runs
Yes,
almost.
and that was one
and
record
he's
which
so
we
that's
got
another
to.
record that he already has. That it's the highest number of runs scored by any uh, captain in his debut series, like any Indian captain in his debut series.
The amazing thing about Gill was that his average in just these 4 innings has jumped from 35 to 40.
Yeah.
I think even more now, probably at the end of that innings yesterday.
His average in England from 14 to 140, I think. His average in England because he's played a few tests
Yeah,
in England.
yeah,
It was 1 4 14, now it's gone to 140 or something.
Amazing.
yeah. I'm sure Virat or Rohit will be sort of rowing the decision to retire. Probably they could have gotten 100 or two themselves on these tracks.
Yeah.
I think Virat could have still played, man. For like this series, Virat should have been considered. Like we would have Gill at three, Virat at four, and Virat had it for to play
Yeah,
another
yeah.
1 or 2 years. That's what
No,
I think.
especially with this bowling attack, I think they would have relished this opportunity because in the past we used to
Yeah,
use the
definitely.
bat in England. I mean, 2011, 2014, 2018, all of those tours. I mean, 2018 especially, we did quite well with the ball. New attack of Ishant, Bumrah, and Shami. But no, that was a golden opportunity. But Virat was the only one who stood up to the English bowlers then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a complete contrast to how we've played in England for the past, as many series as we can remember.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely great opportunity. We don't know why he retired. Was it personal reasons? Did the board tell him to not continue anymore? That they're looking forward to a new team or a new World Test Championship cycle? I don't know how it works, but yeah,
Yeah,
he had.
that's like a big debate because I mean there were all these rumor mills going on that he was also seen practicing after the Australia series during the IPL before the IPL did that goal.
He played that Ranji game
He played a Ranji game.
with
Yeah,
gave
he
that
went back.
interview in which he said he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, something happened between that and when the team
In
was.
the IPL, yeah, during the IPL. So,
Yeah, so for Rohit, I can sort of, understand why they came to that because, he was not a part initially of the test match setup. And we had a phase openers were not doing well in 2018. So we needed an opener to step in. They tried him out. It worked for 4 or 5 years. He was doing quite well in that opener role. For Virat, I think he had more in the tank, but there's likely personal reasons because his test tours are long, and because of the new conditions of you having to play domestic games and all that.
That's home conditions for him, to be
Yeah,
precise.
I was just going to say that it was a home series for him, probably being in
And
India.
the fact that Virat loves Test cricket, like he loved playing Test cricket, and
Yeah,
that was the amazing thing. And the one thing that I feel this team lacks is the intensity which Virat Kohli brought. Even in the first Test, you could see Pant and Shubman were pretty relaxed when England were going for that score of 370. So that intensity, what was required, maybe they could have transitioned India in a way where that intensity is passed on to the next generation because they are quite relaxed. Good that
yeah,
they won this easily. Like if it would, let's see how they perform when the game becomes intense. Somebody who
like
stood
historically for
against
Indian teams,
like
especially the
against Anderson, and they have a worse bowling attack right now. I think the intensity is what would have helped Indian team a lot in this series with Virat being out.
yeah, but I think like a different thought on that is, and historically it has been like that for Indian teams, especially is the captain sort of brings his own intensity and his own way of thinking into the team. From Virat to Rohit, we saw that change a lot. I'm sure Gill, like he's been a very passive aggressive captain even for Gujarat Titans. So maybe that's the sort of nature that he will bring into the team than just being all out aggressive. So it's interesting. It's like been a very interesting two test matches for him. One that we should have won and we didn't. One that we have, definitely been up front from the start and ended up winning convincingly. So yeah, actually that's another record that uh, India did today, achieved today. The highest margin of victory in an overseas test. So
Oh, nice.
By runs,
by
yeah.
runs, by runs, yeah. So yeah, I think it's an interesting series too, and also like debuting your captaincy in a series in England abroad is something of a challenge for any captain, I'm sure. So far it's been a good ride.
Definitely.
So great. I think that brings us to the end of uh, the podcast. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for
Thank
also
you.
staying up.
Okay,
Yeah, we were just hoping that it didn't go that long.
Yeah, yeah.
Good that it did not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looking at the
So,
score yesterday, I was like pretty confident it would end at 9:30. But the rain break in the morning and in the first session, I was like, oh God, now are we in for a late night?
yeah,
But
but
great.
like with the rains, if rains would have come and then we would have like still we were not going to get them out in like in 30 overs yesterday. So like if the rains would have come, it would have been just unlucky. No, I don't think it
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
some wrong decision or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose a whole day to rains, then it's just bad luck.
Yeah, yeah.
Great, great, great having you guys. I'm sure I'll see you more often. And let's get this thing building.
Sure, sure, sure.
sure. Thanks a lot,
Great.
guys. Bye.
All right. See you. Bye,
Thanks.
bye, bye.
Yes, good night.
Good night.